Climate change is not about the perils of tomorrow, but what is happening today. If we look back at our country, from our green land to the great savannas and natural mineral resources and the amazing wildlife that we have, the great place for climate change, and we have seen and experienced one of the best gifts given to man, which is nature. However, we are faced with many challenges, one of which is gas emission and air pollution. And this is gradually killing the best thing that has ever happened to us as a country in Nigeria, Mother Earth. Which brings me to the topic that says, is the concept of net zero emission a deceptive strategy by developed nations? My name is Oluwaseyifunmi Adebayo, a final year student at the Nigerian Institute of Journalism. I will be speaking into this topic. First, I want to acknowledge the VoiceStream Africa, InStride Pathway Youth Foundation and the United Nations Youth Foundation for the opportunity to do this. So we are all on the same page. Let's clarify important keywords associated with the topic. Net zero emission, deceptive strategy and developed nature. According to Wikipedia, global net zero emission is the emissions and removals of greenhouse and gases due to human activities being imbalanced over a given period of time. A deceptive strategy involves manipulating an opponent's perceptions and beliefs to gain an advantage or achieve a specific outcome. Also, developed countries and nations characterized by high level of economic prosperity, technological advancement, and social well-being. Examples of developed countries include United Nations, Canada, Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, countries of Western Europe, and some Arab states. Developed nations have historically contributed over 70% of global emissions since the Industrial Revolution. According to the Global Carbon Project, the US alone accounted for 25% of total emissions. As of 2021, developed nations have a moral obligation to lead in emission reduction. The Paris Agreement calls for developed nations to take the lead due to their historical contribution. However, critics argue that many developed nations utilize carbon offsetting, which allows them to continue high level of emission while funding projects elsewhere, which shows that this is not just deception. It is important to note the concern surrounding the implementation of net zero policy. Many developed nations have yet to translate commitment into action. According to Net Zero Coalition by the United Nations commitments made by government to date fall far short of what is required. However, addressing these implementation gaps can lead to a stronger policy and greater accountability. We can find ways to take or pay more attention to our environment. However, we cannot achieve net zero emission in a state where the people do not have a knowledge of what environmental sustainability is. First of all, are we on track of net zero, or are we just wasting our time? If we say yes, then the question will be, how many Nigerian states truly practice environmental sustainability? How many of these states have policies that drive environmental sustainability? What initiative by both government and non-governmental organizations participate as a driving force for an eco-centric community where we experience clean energy, renewable energy, where effective waste management and recycling ideas are being achieved? Companies are beginning to understand the negative impact of pollution through the smoke that are emitted from the machines daily. Should we say all these strategies are now in place? Are they effective today? Well, if we say these strategies are effective and we look through the WhatsApp channels of United Nations, from UNICEF to United Nations to the World Health Organization, 90% of the time, the stories that are covered about our nation are only for PLC. Cover aspects of the negative impact as which things are to us, and they do not look at the positive light of it. Hence, we could say it is deceptive. How can we talk about net zero emission when the land is not developed? Nigeria today is not categorized as a developed country. We are still falling short of being identified as developing, and the World Bank predicts that by 2027, a million or trillion of Nigerians will end up being poor. If people are not financially stable, how can we achieve, or what are the things we think they will be able to achieve that will make them begin to practice sustainability, that will drive the 2025 goal of the COP26 of the net zero emission in the world? As a developing nation, we could not say we are not making effort. There are a lot of non-profit organizations and individuals who are championing the cause of environmental sustainability in the nation. Take for instance, Eco Champions, Green Spaces, Eco Zone, which I am also an active member of the Eco Zone at the Nigerian Institute of Journalism. This body comes together to educate and impact the public about environmental sustainability, things that are necessary to be put in place for us to have a greener space, safer space, and experience clean energy. experience nature and put respect to the name of nature while we also live active life in our different communities. Are there organizations or are there government bodies that are putting this in place? Yes, there are government bodies that are putting this in place already. A perfect example is the Lekki Conservation Center situated in Lagos, Nigeria. This green space also makes us aware that yes, we can leverage environmental sustainability to grow ourselves, and as a nation that we are making impact. That is to say that we cannot say that the strategy is excessive. A lot of funds have been put in place already to ensure that the sustainability is practiced both at home and abroad. One of the things that is being incorporated right now is more afforestation than deforestation. It is emphasized that a family or home or a place must ensure to have streets in their spaces, which will also aid clean energy. Another thing that we could look right now is the aspect of organization or companies who are beginning to imbibe low gas emission. Let us not go into net zero. Yes, just low gas emission. Also, we can see the creation of technology by companies that are beginning to teach recycling, practice recycling in a well-suited manner. With this, we are seeing how it also impacts finances for our nation. Therefore, we cannot say that net zero is a deceptive strategy. However, it is pivot and it is a way to empower nations and to make our community safe, and that we are all safe. According to IPCC, we aim for net zero by 2050. We can limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius and avoid catastrophic climate impact where there are no health hazards, there are no environmental hazards, and there are no accidents. And we do not live in a space whereby we can go above 1.5 degrees Celsius for us to live actively in Nigeria. Thank you.